This podcast is brought to you by GBS, where you'll find flexible education that fits around your busy lifestyle. For more information on GBS courses, visit globalbanking.ac.uk.
Well, hello everyone, it's really great to have Erica Mulowayi here today, and she is a lecturer in construction management. You're very welcome, Erica, and thank you so much for coming over to Greenford campus to see us.
It's my pleasure to be here. I'm quite excited for the conversations that we will have.
Oh, lovely. I've got a lot of conversations, and it's been really interesting talking to you beforehand and learning a bit about you, and I think the students will be really appreciative of your kind of life journey and what you're doing for us here at GBS.
You'll be surprised that some of our students have probably similar experience to what I have. I don't think my experience is unique, but it's about reaching those students and give them the encouragement that they will need.
That's so important, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. So could you tell us a bit about your beginnings and your journey then, because that's very interesting.
Yes, I've got a sort of a very far beginning, I would say, in a way that my parents are originally from Africa, from the Congo, and they've decided at some point to move to Australia, in Queensland, in Brisbane.
Such a journey from the Congo to Australia.
Yes, it's a long way, you would think. When they go to Queensland, there weren't many Congolese, really. It was quite a culture shock for them.
Yeah.
But for me and my sister, we managed to adapt quite easily because we were children at the time.
Yeah. And you were saying, so your parents, your father was an academic, I understand.
Yes, my father had a PhD in history, taught a university before, and worked as a consultant for different private firms and public firms. So he was a well-established, smart man, I would say, in a way. Yeah.
So then, how did you become involved in construction, and how did your trajectory go into construction?
Okay, so back when I was younger, I was always very good with science, and even though my father was an academic, he was quite a traditional African man, I would say. So he would encourage me and my sister to follow streams where it would be more easy for women to make it, per se. So it did actually encourage me to do some medical studies. But at the time, I've always grown up as being a bit of a tomboyish little girl. And I wanted to challenge myself in the construction industry because I like art, I like architecture, I like design. But more importantly, I like to see them being brought to life. So I was always excited about buildings, excited about houses, everything that was materialized from a drawing to become a reality. So that's what made me actually go with a civil engineering degree first. So I did my bachelor in civil engineering at Griffith University at the Gold Coast. And then I decided to do my master in construction management and then a PhD. But there was a bit of a break in between. I went to the industry to work as well in construction.
That's great. Now tell me then, did you experience any difficulties being a woman involved in construction?
Oh, it was challenging.
How?
It started with engineering, to be honest with you. There were about 3 girls in a room of hundreds. Other men, I would say, / students. And from there, going to the field, it was quite hard to be assertive. You would think that with a degree in civil engineering and going to the construction side, you will be well respected and valued. But as a woman, it was very hard to voice my opinion because some of the construction workers there, the tradies, have been there for many years. And they considered themselves to be well experienced, and being men, they thought that my voice wasn't really something that they would want to hear.
How did you overcome that then?
It was challenging. I think it's years of proving myself. I had to work double than my male colleagues. And with those challenges, I have to put a lot more work that my male colleague would have put. And I had to be firm. I learned to be firm quite in a young age as well. Maybe because of my background and because of my family challenges and struggle. I learned to hold my ground from quite a young age.
That's really useful to learn and to kind of, to apply, really, isn't it?
Yes.
So, and then you're here now. Tell us a bit more about your role here at GBS.
So I've joined GBS recently, this year.
Yeah.
And I work as a lecturer in construction management. It was quite a exciting / interesting role, because the type of cohort that we have here are not the cohort that you find everywhere. So we have those kind of students that do have, some of them, or the majority of them, have experience in the field, but they don't have prior knowledge of the construction industry in terms of academic knowledge. But they have they're driven, and they already experience the hands-on touch of part of the construction, I would say. Yeah.
So your role, your teaching, is to try and to impart the technical, the qualification based aspect, but they already have that prior. Some of them, many of them, have that prior kind of experience. Then.
Yes, it's about linking the academic knowledge to the practical aspects. It's good to know, for instance, that you have to put a brick and cement and have a wall, but to know exactly how much cement, or why do we need cement in there, that's require critical thinking, and that critical thinking comes from university. So GBS is trying to link those two aspects together, so that at least if they leave our university, they would have both of their expertise based on accurate knowledge of why they do their job, not necessarily because of training only.
Yeah. And so far, your experience then of being here at GBS, teaching here, tell us a bit more about it.
I've liked the environment because it's multicultural, and our students, the staff, remind me a little bit of my parents, I would say, because when they came to Australia, they were driven, but they had language barrier, because they spoke French. They had cultural barrier, because they had to learn the culture here. So we have those type of students as well, who came here with the drive to work, but they do have language barrier, cultural barrier. But we also have the staff capable of gathering for those needs, because our staffs are multicultural, from different backgrounds, so they do understand where the students are coming from.
Yes. So a question would be then, for why GBS then? Why GBS, the whole place? What is it that attracts you? A bit more about that, maybe.
Okay, the intriguing part is I came across Global Banking School. And I thought, is it a banking school?
Yeah, most so people do.
Yes. So I was at the time in a public university. And as much as the public university was well known, GBS was something that sort of caught my attention because of the practical aspect of the program. I went through what they were offering, and I've realized that it's something that I wanted. I wanted so badly to stay in touch with the construction industry, the practical field, and still in academia. And that is a way to be exposed to that, to our students, but also to our practical aspect of our teaching.
Yes.
In traditional university, you have that hierarchy of lecturers being not so much approachable. And the student will look at them in a pedestal, will see them in a pedestal. But at GBS, you have that closeness between lecturers and student. That's why I'm actually drawn to be at GBS.
Yeah. And so could we, if you maybe could put it all in one kind of, maybe one or two sentences, what would you say to prospective students coming to GBS?
I would say that this is a university that will give you the practical hands-on knowledge that you need straight away. You don't have to wait for many years to get a connection between the industry and university, because a lot of university fail to give that clear connection between the two, and there is a gap in between what they're learning and what they're getting out of it to be used in the industry.
And that may be attractive to people who, it's almost a tired old expression now, but coming by non-conventional routes, that may be very attractive to them, because they want to see a kind of return for their studies, don't they?
Exactly. I've always been told before, why do you, because of the way I teach, why do you go straight to the point? And I say, because it's easier to know exactly what to do when you go straight to the point. So they come in GBS, they get the knowledge, and they go and they apply it. That's what they want, and the student will find it at GBS.
And what would you say maybe to students who are then juggling family responsibilities, work responsibilities, and studies? What would you say to them? What is your advice to them?
My advice is to not just stay with that sort of dreams, because dreams without goals are just dreams. To still have your goal set and you will achieve it, because nowadays the tools and techniques that universities such as GBS have put in place make it easier for people who have children, family, to be able to learn, because you learn most of the time when you are in class with us. So your time spent is well spent with us.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, a few questions for you, really, about your kind of the way you work and about your life. And so these are kind of questions we ask everybody. So, are you a morning person or a nighttime person?
I'm a morning person.
Me too.
So I wake up very early in the morning, but somehow I prefer to teach in the evening. Yeah. Because I've realized that I'm more productive in the evening as well. So I would say I'll probably be both morning and evening person.
I'm interested in that, because it seems that GBS students, they appreciate this, because I mean they may not be always morning people, or all of them anyway, but they like the idea of hardworking academics who are and I'm very interested in that, and I think it's inspirational for students.
It is, and usually I tell them as well, because our students work as well. They are hardworking students. So some of them have already jobs, and they have to juggle jobs and university studies. Yeah. And I tend to tell them, you're not the only one that's doing it. We've been there. We are there. So we work in the morning, we teach in the evening. It's feasible, and we still trying to maintain our work-life balance with our family as well.
Yeah. Are you a deadline hitter, or are you a deadline misser?
I'm a deadline hitter. Always, yeah.
And we need deadlines, don't we?
Exactly. We do need deadlines, and we need those limits or point where we can target somewhere and then try to get there.
Tea or coffee?
I'm a tea person, always a tea person.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
What about reading? Do you read books, or do you watch television for relaxation?
For relaxation, I do a bit of both. My job involves a lot of writing already. So if I want to get away from the writing and reading, I tend to watch documentaries, especially those engineering building documentary, and sometimes just Netflix, so that I get my head away completely from my job. Yeah.
And what would you say to GBS students about that then? How does that apply to their lives? You know, what would you say that, how important is that as a dimension of of one's daily life or one's weekly experience?
I would say that of course study requires readings, study requires a lot of writing, but trying to have some time off where you can just relax, because you need to recharge your mind, and you need to be at your best when you come to university. So it's not always the burden of reading all the time, but also having time away. Sometimes we learn from what we see outside in a practical way. Sometimes it's what we watch on TV. So take it as an opportunity to learn from everything we do, distraction or uni work, anything.
And what that's great. And so what are you going to be doing here then? What is the kind of role for the future for you here, do you think?
I see myself really being embedded in construction management. It's a department that we have opened not long ago, and I've got my years of experience, 9 years in the industry, both teaching and doing work outside, and I want to channel that in GBS, to bring it to GBS and attract students. It's as if you're full of knowledge and all you want is just to transmit it. That's why I'm here. So I want to share that knowledge. I want students to know what's going on, but also I want to learn from them as well. I'm finding that with the students that we have, they bring their practical experience hands-on, and we share. So it's a knowledge sharing environment at GBS as well.
Erica, it's been I think you're going to be an inspiration, or you probably are already an inspiration to the students. It's been great to speak to you.
Thank you.
And I think your energized and incisive comments are a wonder. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this GBS podcast. GBS is a provider of higher education with flexible courses in business, finance, accounting, healthcare, technology and construction. With courses from HND to bachelor and master's degrees and study options that include weekdays, evenings and weekends, there's a course that's right for you. Visit globalbanking.ac.uk or email the GBS team at admissions@globalbanking.ac.uk.